Salve discipuli, this is Mickey Strabetti, and this is the video recording for Lesson 1, English and Latin Syntax. Syntax in English, actually syntax in any language, just refers to function. So how do you know what the function of a word is when you look at it? Specifically in this lesson, we're going to talk about nouns. Nouns can perform many different functions. The two functions that we're concerned about in this lesson are subject and direct object. Subject is the person, place, or thing, typically doing the verb. Direct object is typically the person, place, or thing receiving the action of the verb. For example, the father calls the child. In this sentence, the father is the subject because the father is the one doing the calling. The child is the direct object because the child is receiving the action of the verb, the calling. Number 2, love conquers anger. The verb is conquers. Love is the one doing the conquering, so it's the subject. Anger is the one being conquered, so it is the direct object. Number 3, mother and father love the child. Love is the verb. Mother and father are together the subject because they're the one doing the loving. The child is the direct object because it's the one being loved. The hand has an eye. Has is the verb. The hand is the subject because it's the one doing the having. I is the direct object because it's the one being had. Day rules night. Rules is the verb. Day is doing the ruling, so it's the subject. Night is receiving the ruling, so it is the direct object. So, how do you know what the syntax is, what the function of a noun is in English? Think about that for a moment. Read over the sentences again if it helps. You'll probably notice that it all depends on word order. Subject, verb, direct object. 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 So English relies almost entirely on word order, SVDO. Now let's look at syntax in Latin. So quick review, remember anything that ends in a T for the time being is a verb. In Latin, the words that you're left with are nouns, and you can divide those nouns into two different categories, those that end in M and those that don't. Those that do end in an M are your direct object. Those that do not end in an M are your subject. So quickly, we can go through here. Pater does not end in an M or a T. That's our subject. So the father is doing the verb. Amat means loves, and because that ends in a T, that's the verb. Matrem ends in an M, so that's our direct object. So we know that the father is doing the loving. Loving is the verb. The mother is the one being loved. Father loves mother. Now, word order is not all that important in Latin. So those words could be mixed up in any other order, and it would still say father loves mother. For example, mater here, it does not end in an M or a T, so that's our subject. Filium ends in an M, so that's our direct object. Kalot ends in a T, so that's our verb. The mother, son, hides. That doesn't make any sense at all. So what we need to do is as part of the translating process is move it into proper English word order. Otherwise, the translation is not complete. So mother hides the son. Here we've got love conquers. Here we have father eats the rock. Sky covers land. So in summary, how can you tell the function of a noun in English? It's word order. How can you tell the function of a noun in Latin? It's the ending. Vale discipuli.